Yo, what's good, YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoot, back with the Pokemon Battle Federation Season 7 draft analysis for the Blackmont Raikougars, coached by yours truly. We finished the PBF Season 6. We fell short in the finals. We've had our draft, we've had our announcement video, we've had our power rankings video. Now we're going to have our draft analysis, and then soon after we'll have the season opener game, which I caught live, and we will have my week 1 going up. Probably maybe pace these out week by week. So we'll see what's going on there. So our team, as you can see on screen, we have Weavile as our first pick. Let's talk about what number pick we had in the draft. First of all, we added 4 new coaches, so we now have 16 coaches. And I had pick number 16. So, needless to say, I was snapped quite a few times. The pick I wanted first was Garchomp, and it was taken 3rd overall, so I had no chance with that bad boy. I wanted Garchomp Mega Gallade with Misty Terrain support, with lots of other cool things. I won't go too into detail and give a draft plan away, but maybe a different draft I can get what I wanted here. However, we did get the 16th pick, and when it got to us, our pick, we had not the best options, but by no means were my options limited. So I grabbed Weavile for my first pick, Big Bad Weavile. Weavile is a really fun mon to use in the draft format community because it's so fast and powerful that you can oftentimes afford to run an adamant choice band set or a life orb set, and it just works so well. Performs lots of different roles: breaker, janitor, setup, sweeper, revenge killer, trapper, pursuit trapper, and stuff like that. So yeah, lots of cool things Weavile can do. And it's got base 125 speed, which maxes out when you have a jolly or timid nature to 383, which is just amazing. And even with an adamant nature, it outpaces the likes of Infernape, Keldeo, and any mons with 348 speed or slower. So really cool there. Outspeeds Blacephalon as well. And with the adamant nature and 31 IVs in attack and 252 EVs, you have a max of 372 points and 372 boosted. I said boosted by a choice band sets you at 558 attack. So really cool. Has 2 cool abilities in pressure and pickpocket. Pressure to make Pokemon use additional 1 extra additional what the fuck, redundancy. 1 extra PP each time it uses a move. When the move is targeting Weavile, that is. And pickpocket, when Weavile has no item, it can steal another Pokemon's item by making contact with it, such as moves like knock off and fake out, stuff like that. So Weavile gets Brick Break, Avalanche. These are some moves that aren't as common. Focus Punch and Home Claws and Low Kick and Night Slash and Poison Jab and Power Up Punch and Shadow Claw and lots of different things. X Scissor gets Taunt and Swords Dance. I'm sure most know about Swords Dance and Taunt though. Knockoff Icicle Crash and Ice Shard are pretty standard. Pursuit's pretty standard, so I won't talk about those too much. Gets Metal Claw, Low Sweep, things like that, Punishment, and some other weaker fighting type attacks, but I guess Brick Break would be the better option, or Focus Punch if you want to get real. If you want to be super real, you'll break Andy's mind with Dig. Dig Weavile will break somebody's mind. More than likely Andy. Weavile has the ability to run setup, like I mentioned, but it also has the ability to run some different, like, how to word this. It can run things like Fake Out, Ice Shard, Quick Attack. It can be an all priority user. It can catch mons off guard with like Ice Beam. With that base 45 special attack, catch somebody off guard with the Ice Beam or the Dark Pulse. And yeah, it gets facade, so if I'm burned, I can still make use of Weavile or something like that. But I do have ways around a burn, such as fire type Pokemon or hard switching in my number 2 pick, which was Weavile. Weavile is a great, or Weavile, Tapu Fini, excuse me, is a great Pokemon here. It's got great stats across the board. Base 85 speed, which is pretty solid for a fat mon. Base 130 special defense, base 115 defense, and base 70 HP. So, I mean, it's got average HP, but its defenses are so good, and its special attack is usable, very decent at 95. So this thing sets up the Misty Terrain, which means for 5 turns, Pokemon can't status versus grounded Pokemon, and Dragon Power is reduced versus grounded Pokemon. However, if you're levitating or a flying type, this obviously won't help. But yeah, so Tapu Fini gives me a nice defogger. A Pokemon with Haze to reduce, stat changes, or eliminate stat changes and reduce my chances of getting swept. It gets Calm Mind. It can set up itself with Calm Mind, Dazzling Gleam, Ice Beam, Surf or Hydro Pump, Moon Blast, etc. Gets Magic Coat, Light Screen, and Reflect. So nice moves there with Knock Off as an additional nice move. Scald isn't optimal since you do have the Misty Terrain, but if you know that Fini's going to be in for a long time, and you know that the Misty Terrain might disappear, or you might be in a terrain war with another Tapu, then you can potentially run Scald and make advantage of the 30% chance to burn. Like I mentioned, this thing gets Taunt. It also gets Trick, and has a decent enough speed stat to potentially be like a Choice Scarf variant with Trick, Choice Scarf, Moon Blast, Choice Scarf Surf, and Hydro Pump, etc. So it could be a really cool Pokemon that way. I have used Tapu Fini once before. I didn't upload that league, but yeah, I do have experience using Tapu Fini, so I'm a little bit excited to try to use it again and make better of it than what I did in the first time I used it. So definitely looking forward to that. And I have watched a lot more other people use it since then. So yeah, I can definitely see Tapu Fini putting in a lot of work. It gets things like Rain Dance and Psych Up, Whirlpool, so you can be a trapper in that kind of sense. It gets Wonder Room, lots of other cool things. And it gets Swagger, which I won't be able to use, but it's still really cool. And I guess that's all I want to say about Tapu Fini. It's a super nice fairy type, so it's immune to dragon types, and it's a water type too. It's a nice bulky water type. The only problem I have with Fini is it doesn't get like recovery. It should get recover. It would be really cool if it did. Excuse me. But it may be a little too much if it did get some kind of recovery. So maybe it was a blessing in disguise that such a mon with stats such as this and a typing such as Water Fairy maybe just be too much for teams to handle. So on our third pick, I wanted to pick up a nice flying check. I had a pick in mind for the late game, a fighting type. I had Mega Gallade in mind at first, but since it was snapped, I decided on taking either Mega Heracross or Mega Medicham in the late draft. And lots of teams already had Megas already, and I had discussed with some of the other coaches that didn't have Megas, who would either have a fighting type already or a Mega already, or had a Mega in mind that wasn't Mega Medicham or Mega Heracross. So I knew I would get one of those two in the late draft. So I wanted to go ahead and pick up a nice flying check early in the match, and I went ahead and picked up Zapdos. So Zapdos gives me another mon with the pressure ability. It gives me another mon that can perform a lot of different roles. It has amazing stats across the board, and another fat mon with an amazing speed tier. It gets the ability Static, so any Pokemon that makes contact with me could potentially have a chance to be paralyzed. 30% chance at that. So that's pretty cool. It's got an amazing ability in Electric Flying, which only gives it 2 weaknesses in Rock and Ice. So this Pokemon gets a lot of different a lot of different techs. It gets agility, baton pass. It gets defog and detect and discharge, which has a 30% chance to paralyze, just like the scald from such as Mon's water types, I should say. Anyways, it gets great coverage in extra sensory and heat wave. Hidden power of your choice. It gets light screen and reflect, rest, roost, roar, signal beam even. So like grass types that might want to have a free switch in have to watch out for things like heat wave, hidden power ice, and even signal beam at that. So Celebi is no switch in. That's a grass type that would not appreciate signal beam. So a sub roost set could be very annoying for Pokemon to deal with an ability such as pressure and stats such as 90 HP, 90 attack, 85 defense, 125 special attack. What a what a monster. 90 special defense and base 100 speed. So one of the best Pokemon in the format in my opinion, and definitely top 3 electric types. Gets Tailwind support, Thunderbolt, Thunderwave, so lots of different ways to control speed with Tailwind, Thunderwave, Discharge, Static. Gets Whirlwind and Roar, so Pokemon such as bulletproof mons or soundproof mons that can't be roared can potentially still be whirlwinded out. I get Volt Switch and U-Turn, which is super dope. Air Cutter and Aerial Ace, Flying type stab, but I do think with Air Cutter you have to run pressure and you can't run defog or something like that. I think it's circumstantial on when you run that. You can also run never mind. I don't know if I want to give the. Yeah, I want to talk about it. Curse Zapdos. Now, Curse, Fly, Wild Charge Zapdos or something like that with Roost. Oh my lord. I won't talk too much about it though. We can just move on. So yeah, Zapdos also gets 2 moves which could catch people off guard with Sunny Day or Rain Dance, which could potentially support my fire type in the back, or Tapu Fini itself, and even Zapdos itself. Thunder, its accuracy gets boosted to 100% in Rain, which is insane to be honest, with that kind of base power. But I guess it would take 2 turns to set up the Rain, and then 1 turn to set up the Rain, and then another turn to attack. So I guess it evens out in that sense. And then we have the all-powerful Zap Cannon, which is 50% accurate, but it's a 100% chance to paralyze the target, as well as 120 base power, coming off a base special attack of 125 itself. So Zapdos is really cool. I've used it before. I have experience using it. Very, very excited to use it once again, though. And we can move on to our next pick, which is another mon that we're very familiar with. Our girl Nidoqueen here. So Nidoqueen gets the ability you see on screen, Poison Point, where any Pokemon that makes contact with Nidoqueen will have a 30% chance of being, poisoned. It also gets Rivalry, where its attacks do 1.25 times, the damage on same gender, where it does 0.75 times on opposite gender. So that's pretty cool, especially if I know that Pokemon will be female. I can use that to my advantage, since Nidoqueen is always a female. And my attacks would always be, boosted against female targets. But the ability that stands out the most with Nidoqueen is Sheer Force. This Pokemon's attacks with secondary effects have 1.3 times power and nullifies the secondary effects. With average base stats similar to Clefable, 90 HP, 92 attack, 87 defense, 75 attack, 85 special defense, and 76 speed. Very average, like Clefable, but its abilities and its move pool is what sets it apart. Its abilities, move pool, and typing set it apart to where these average base stats don't really matter that much. It really doesn't. And this Pokemon with a Life Orb is an amazing breaker. Black Sludge can be a very nice bulky mon. It has a really cool typing. Gets Stealth Rocks. It gets Toxic Spikes. Speaking of which, Defog. I have 2 Defog users already now. So back to Nidoqueen. Stealth Rocks and Toxic Spikes. Earth Power, Sludge Wave. Those are pretty standard. Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Fire Blast, Earthquake, Drill Run, Dragon Pulse, Dragon Tail, Disable, Crunch, Brick Break, Avalanche, Aqua Tail, Body Slam, Frustration and Return, Ice Beam, Ice Punch. I believe I already said Ice Beam. Gets Hone Claws, any hidden power you'd like. Poison Jab, which is boosted by sheer force. It gets Power Up Punch and Pursuit, which is cool. Reflect and Roar, so it has all kinds of different moves. Seismic Toss, Shadow Ball, Shadow Claw, Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, Stone Edge, which is boosted by sheer force thanks to its high critical hit ratio. Gets Sucker Punch and Super Fang, Taunt, Surf, Thunderbolt, Thunder Punch. Like its coverage is insane. It's another cursed mon. It's another excuse me. Sometimes my tongue doesn't do what I ask it to do. It gets a Natural Gift and Poison Tail, which Poison Tail isn't that viable because it's really, really weak. But Poison Fang is very similar, but has a 50% chance to badly poison the target, which is also insane. So yeah, lots of cool things this Pokemon can do. It has amazing coverage. It has some nice text that I didn't mention as well. So I want to keep those for the surprise factor. But definitely, this mon reminds me so much of Clefable because of its poor base. Well, I'm not gonna say poor. I'm gonna just say less than average base stats plus an amazing move pool and typing, and amazing abilities. 2 amazing abilities and 1 that's okay. That just set it apart from other mons, that would have these base stats. Well, that's just my opinion anyway. So next up, we're going to heat things up, and we're going to bring in our Heatran, and this Pokemon is super cool. I've never used it in the Draft League format, but I have used it in OU quite a bit, especially in Oris OU. So yeah, definitely cool Pokemon here. Another Stealth Rocker, a Fire type, and a Steel type in one, so a nice Fairy check here. Has the ability to run Choice Scarf, Choice Specs, and be a nice breaker, Life Orb, but most likely a leftover set, a bulky leftover set with like Stealth Rock and 3 attacks or something, some kind of utility mon. However, I won't stray from using like Choice Scarf or Choice Specs if it makes sense. And I have a 4 times weakness to ground, so Sugar Berry is very, likely as a set too, I could say. It gets Eruption, Fire Blast, Fire Fang, Flame Charge, Flamethrower, Heat Wave, Lava Plume, Magma Storm, Overheat, Will-O-Wisp, Fire Spin, plenty of fire coverage as you can tell. It gets Earth Power as well, which is pretty cool for, well, in the OU it'd be pretty cool for opposing Heatran, but obviously won't have those versus me. It gets Dark Pulse and Crunch, Dragon Pulse, Earth Power, Earthquake. It gets Explosion, which is nice to make sure that I could always kill myself whenever I needed to. Flash Cannon, which is super cool. Iron Head. Heatran's base special attack is a whopping 130, so Flash Cannon, Fire Blast, and those moves are going to be Overheat, are really going to be powerful behind that base special attack. Like I mentioned, it gets Stealth Rock, Rock Slide, and Stone Edge, so nice rock coverage there as well. Substitute, Taunt, Toxic sets, all sorts of things. It even gets Bug Bites, which can steal and eats the target's berries, which is kind of weird, but it works. Got the Endure, so if I wanted to run like a Salac Berry set and wanted to pop my Salac Berries, I could just Endure and make sure that I live any one hit, get a Salac Berry speed boost, and then be a essentially a Choice Scarf Heatran with some awesome offensive capabilities. So, like I mentioned about Weavile and Nidoqueen, and I think Zapdos, I think they all 3 get Natural Gift, and Heatran joins the team with another Natural Gift user. Really hype about that, and that's basically it for Heatran, really. It's a nice Stealth Rocker, nice special attack mon. It can be a nice mon defensively, either way, especially versus Fire-type Pokemon that don't have ground coverage, and Fairy-type Pokemon. Most Fairies don't have ground coverage, but some do. Obviously not an Azu check, since Azu is part water type, and Steel type blocking the Fairy type doesn't always mean that the Fire type is blocking the other type as well. So that's something to keep in mind. And with that being said, that is the last of our first 5 picks, and we can move into our second 5 picks here. We have Serena to finally fill out our Fire Water Grass Core with Tapu Fini and Heatran. This mon gives me rapid spin support, as well as having an ability called Queenly Majesty, where this Pokemon and allies, but obviously we're playing singles, so allies aren't existent here. So this Pokemon is protected from opposing priority moves. How cool is that? Queenly Majesty. So it's a pure grass type with pretty decent stats across the board, especially in its defense and special defense, at both being 98 with 72 HP, 120 attack, which is pretty solid, and decent speed at 72. Its special attack is very poor, but it can make use out of an Assault Vest variant, leftovers. It could be a Yachi Berry variant, Choice Scarf, Choice Specs, Choice Band. Let me take Choice Specs back because its special attack is very poor. It gets aromatherapy. It gets some pretty cool coverage as well. It gets a knockoff and Trop Kick, which is pretty cool. Light Screen and Reflect, which is dope. Rapid Spin, Power Whip. It gets Nature Power, so in certain terrains, I do have a nice Nature Power attack there, and obviously its default will be Tri-Attack basically. Synthesis, so I have Reliable Recovery now, along with Zapdos. Gets you U-Turn and Zen Headbutt, so poison types aren't safe to just switch in, and I can always catch momentum with U-Turn. So really cool mon here, and I'm excited to use it. I think I never have used it before. More inclined to Decidueye and Delmise and Shaman, and what are some other grass type Pokemon I've used? Off the top of my head, I'm blanking right now, but yeah, definitely excited to use Serena. I'm actually using it in another league right now. I just recently drafted it, but I've yet to use it, which is, the reason being I said, I haven't drafted it before. It's because I haven't used it before. So I have drafted it before, but I've not used it before, if that makes sense. So, yeah, we're 4 weeks in on the other league that I do have Serena in, and I have not used it yet. So hopefully we can find time for that in that league and in this league. Next up, we have another breaker. So we're lacking. We're not necessarily lacking in offense, but we're lacking in super obvious immediate offense, if that makes sense. So now we have Haxorus with that base 147 attack. So with no physical attack investment, its base attack sets higher than base 100s at max attack. So that's insane. Has an ability like Nidoqueen, Rivalry, but its best ability, in my opinion, is going to be Mold Breaker. And Unnerve is pretty cool too, since I can potentially pop Haban Berries or Shuka Berries or Kibia Berries and berries such as those. But Mold Breaker, I do believe, is the best ability for Haxorus. This Pokemon's moves and their effects ignore the abilities of other Pokemon, so super dope there. It's a nice Life Orb, nice Choice Band Breaker. It's a nice Choice Scarf, Revenge Killer, and can potentially run Choice Specs, Life Orb, Leftovers, Yachi Berry, Haban Berry, Roselli Berry, etc. I think it fills out the Fairy Dragon Steel Core really well, being more offensive dragon and less defensive like the Fairy and Steel type are. So this Pokemon's coverage is insane. Just having Dragon Claw, Earthquake, and Poison Jab, not to mention things like Aqua Tail, Brick Break, Draco Meteor, Dragon Tail, Endeavor, Grass Knot, Home Claws, Night Slash, Outrage, Rest, Roar, Rock Slide, Shadow Claw, Superpower, Swords Dance, Taunt, Toxic, X-Scissor, Dig. So Andy, another Pokemon on my team, you got to look out for that Dig, alright? Don't forget. I actually don't even know if we played this season, off the top of my head. So yeah, another Pokemon with Rain Dance and Sunny Day. So I've got all kinds of weather support if I need it. So if I play against any rain team, like Curtis had a rain team last season, I can always run Sunny Day or something weird. And this Pokemon gets Dragon Dance, which boosts its attack and speed by 1 stage, which is super dope. Its defenses aren't that bad with base 70 special defense, base 90 defense, and base 76 HP, so it's not too frail and can survive most Hidden Power Ice off of electric types and such Pokemon like that. So yeah, nice breaker there. Some nice physical offense. and I was pretty happy with that pick and glad to use it once again. I haven't used it in a while, in quite a while actually, so I'm really happy to use it again. The last time I used it, I think we did go to the finals of the ITL, so really happy about that, and hopefully we can go to the finals again this season. So next up, we got Mega Metachan. We got our boy Mega Metachan. We skipped out on Mega Heracross because our team wasn't, our team was already lacking in the speed department. So instead of getting Heracross, which is kind of slow, we get Mega Metachan, which performs a similar role, but is a lot faster at the same time too. So this Pokemon has base 60 HP, which is below average, but it has base 85 defenses, base 100 attack and speed, and base 80 special attack. But its attack stat being 100, and its ability Pure Power, its attack stat is doubled, so it's actually base 200 attack, which makes moves like High Jump Kick, Zen Headbutt, Drain Punch, Brick Break even, and all the elemental punches and all the coverage it might get, and Psycho Cut, and Rock Slide, and Stone Edge, and Thunder Punch, and all these moves are insanely strong with base 200 attack, especially if you're running Adamant Nature with max attack, Fake Out, Bullet Punch. All these moves are doing insane amounts of damage. But the cool thing about Mega Metachan is, in the Draft League format, there's a lot of ways to prepare for it. Bulky Psychics, bulky Fairy types, Intimidate users, so on and so forth, and Ghost types. So this is where Mega Metachan gets to show off some of its techs, like Baton Pass and Bulk Up, or subsets, or Calm Mindsets. Calm Mindsets, I said it. Or showing off some other techs like Magic Coat and Light Screen and Reflect, and moves like these psychic type moves that you don't see as often because it's such a potent mon that you don't really see it using these weird sets like Shadow Ball or Seismic Toss or something like that. So like Seismic Toss, so a fat psychic comes in expecting to take 17 from Drain Punch or High Jump Kick or whatever, and gets bought by the Seismic Toss and it's 3-hit KO'd or something. So yeah, Zen Headbutt. I was going to say Zen Headbutt's pretty cool. So Mega Metachamp's pretty cool. It gets lots of cool moves like I was mentioning earlier, and it can make use of a base 80 special attack move with its coverage, which is super cool to me. Gets Low Sweep, which could potentially lower a target speed by 1, which could set up something like Haxorus to be faster in the late game. If it's like a 2v1 and Metacham's not going to be able to pick up the knockout, and I can lower somebody's speed with a Low Sweep and then Haxorus come in and finish the job for me, that could be cool. It gets Reversal, so the lower my HP is, the more power I'm using, which is insane. I have used other Pokemon like that, Mega Metachan, or not Mega Metachan, but Hitmonlee, Hallelujah, and their attack stats nowhere near Mega Metacham's after the Pure Power is accounted for. So the amount of damage that Reversal would be doing with a Mega Metacham at low HP is just insane to talk about, or think about, I should say. So it gets this move, these psychic moves that I was telling you about. It gets Power Trick. So Power Trick swaps my attack with my defense stat. So my defensive stat immediately goes to base 100. Pure Power won't be accounted for, but base 100 defense is a lot higher than base 80. It doesn't sound like it, or it doesn't look like it on paper, but it really is when you do some calcs. And yeah, that's insane to think about. It also gets Power Swap, where I will swap attack and special attack stats with my target. Not myself, but my target. So that's a little bit weird too. This Pokemon gets Work Up and Vacuum Wave. So yeah, definitely can make use out of the special attack stat. And yeah, maybe you can catch somebody off guard with something such as that. So yeah, it gets Fake Out, Bullet Punch, Feint. It gets Counter as well. So if I could EV to live a certain hit from a Pokemon such as say I was facing Mega Gallade and it's gonna Oko, no bulk invest in Mega Metachan with Zen Headbutt after rocks or something like that, then I could potentially EV myself to live that, and then once I live that, I could click Counter and get rid of the Mega Metachan pretty safely, or reliably, I should say. So that could be cool. I mean, that's just a specific scenario I just made up in my head, but it's something that could happen. So yeah, I was very happy with my Mega Medicham pick. And next up, we're actually going to have Licky Licky. So what Licky Licky does for our team is throws off wishes and passes them to things like Tapu Fini, Zapdos, Nidoqueen, Heatran, Serena, and our last Pokemon, which we haven't revealed yet. Well, I guess we have since you've seen it on screen already. Yeah, so it gets Wish Protect, it gets Oblivious and Cloud9, so it can use Cloud9 to, check things like Mega Swampert, and Kingdra and all these rain abusers and stuff like that, because the rain and sun and hail and stuff like that, those effects of weather conditions are disabled, so the boost that Hydro Pump would get in the rain is disabled. A lot of people thought Cloud9 made rain or sun or hail or sand go away. All it does is disable the effects of weather whilst weather sticks around. So the Oblivious ability is the best in my opinion, where you can't be infatuated or taunted, and if you gain the ability, you cure infatuation or taunts. Most likely a leftover set almost every week, sometimes a Chople set, depending on certain scenarios. This Pokemon gets Body Slam, Double Edge, Explosion, Frustration, Return, Heal Bell. These are just stab, obviously, and also gets Refresh. So Heal Bell and Refresh can make a nice combination. Refresh has more PP. It gets Ice Beam and Knockoff, Earthquake, Brick Break, Aqua Tail, Focus Blast, Flamethrower, Fire Blast is in Headbutt, Toxic, Thunderbolt, Surf, Shadow Ball, etc. It gets Seismic Toss, Wish Protect, Seismic Toss. Quite a bit of different coverage. Obviously, it's not going to be the offensive Pokemon. I guess it could be in the sense that it can curse up and sweep a team with the curse set. It can be a nice cleric, a fat wall. It can use things like Mega Kick, Mega Punch, Me First, Magnitude, Lick, Psych Up even. So versus Pokemon that could potentially set up versus me and sweep me, I could Psych Up and reverse sweep with a fucking Licky Licky, which is insane to think about as well. Another Pokemon that gives me Sunny Day and Rain Dance, so almost all my Pokemon can run some kind of weather. It gets Whirlpool, so I can trap Pokemon. It gets Thief, so I can steal items if I don't have an item. Yeah, Licky Licky's a lot more versatile than people give it credit for, and I believe it's because it performs such a good role at keeping the rest of your team healthy. Licky Licky can do wonders for things like Tapu Fini and Heatran that don't have reliable recovery. Same for Nidoqueen and my last Pokemon. I was just gonna go ahead and show you Palossand. Palossand here. It's a bit of a meme pick, but it's solid in the roles that it's going to perform as a Rapid Spinner, Volt Switch Stopper, etc., etc., as well as just being a nice base special attack at base 100. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool defensive Pokemon. It gets an ability called Water Compaction, where this Pokemon's defense is raised 2 stages after it is damaged by a water type move, and it gets Sand Veil. So if Sandstorm is active, this Pokemon's evasiveness is boosted, and it's immune to Sandstorm. So if you have a ground type or a rock type, or a Pokemon that isn't ground type, rock type, or steel type, and you get the Sand Veil ability, you're still immune. However, I am, ground type. So, anyways, it doesn't really matter. So, anyways, this Pokemon gets some cool attacks like Destiny Bond, and it has a nice special attack to make use of Earth Power and Energy Ball. Giga Drain. It has Pain Split, which is cool. Psychic, Rest. It can run Rock Polish. Its base speed is base 35, so it's not fast whatsoever, but it has Rock Polish. It has access to that. It has Stealth Rock, so I have another Stealth Rocker now. I think that makes 3. It has Trick, so I can run like Choice Specs and Choice Scarf variants and just trick away my item and catch something off guard. It has an ability a move called Shore Up, where it restores half its max HP. And in Sandstorm, it restores 2/3, so 66% of its HP, which is insane. It gets Shadow Ball, so nice stab there. Shadow Ball and Earth Power, really dope there. Lots of other cool things it can do. It can run the Recycle set with an item. Obviously, it doesn't use it as good as a Gluttony Pokemon would. You get Skill Swap. It gets like Stockpile, Spit Up, Swallow, etc. Snore, Skill Swap, like I just mentioned, Sandstorm. And lots of weird weird techs like hypnosis and infestation, iron defense, and stuff like that. So yeah, lots of cool things I can use with this, and I hope it can be as fun as it looks like it can be. Base 85 HP, base 75 special defense, base 110 defense, with base 100 special attack and base 35 speed. Looks to be pretty cool, and I think I can make use of its offensive, physically offensive base 75 attack stat too. So hopefully we can do that. But yeah, that's going to be the team. Just recapping real quick, we have Weavile, Tapu Fini, Zapdos, Nidoqueen, Heatran, Serena, Haxorus, Mega Medicham, Leaky, Palossand. So I think we got some very nice defense there. Very bulky mons, very bulky offense here, with the ability to have some awesome breakers on both the physically offensive side and the specially offensive side. If there's one thing negative to say about my team, it's that my speed is not there outside of Weavile, and that I was sniped a lot, so I didn't get a lot of the Pokemon I wanted, and my heart hurts because I'm sad. But yeah, that's going to be it for the draft analysis. Let me know what you think about the team. Let me know what you think about the other teams. Of course, I will drop the PBF league doc in the description below, so check that out. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.